I hit a wall. I had all these jobs lined up, and one of them was with a dear friend of mine. I just called her up and I said, I can't do it. I need to work on me. And I've never done that in my 30-year career, walked away from a job, ever.
We're Elisa and Lily, the mother-daughter creators of StyleLikeU, and after interviewing hundreds of trailblazing individuals for our channel, we've been inspired to join the conversation and ask,
what would the world look like if everyone was told from the moment they were born, don't change a thing? What a different world that would be.
This episode of Don't Change a Thing is brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is entirely online and is designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to meet your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire and you'll be matched with a licensed therapist, and you can change therapists for no additional charge.
Visit betterhelp.com/don'tchange today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/don'tchange. Go therapy.
Yeah. Hey everyone, we're Elisa and Lily, mother and daughter of StyleLikeU. We're so excited to have you here for our first episode of our new show, Don't Change a Thing.
Every week, we're going to be sitting down with an incredible StyleLikeU quintessential guest who's going to share their journey to self-acceptance and how, by owning the very thing that they maybe thought was an imperfection or something that was wrong with them or something to change about themselves, once they embraced it, it actually turned into their superpower. The two of us have also been now working together for over a decade as mother and daughter. And
Lily was 19.
I was just going to say I was a baby when we started this. I was 19 and a freshman in college. I'm now a 34-year-old woman. You were 50 starting.
I experienced menopause in the middle of the whole beginning of StyleLikeU. I was literally bringing changes of clothes.
She was sweating through all of her outfits on all of her shoots and changing her shirts.
I didn't care. I just walked right through menopause. We are at a place now where we're ready to share ourselves more in the conversation, and that's why we've created this new show, Don't Change a Thing. We came up with what the concept of this show was going to be when these two beautiful humans, Oren and Robert,
who we interviewed for What's Underneath, and everyone should watch that episode if you haven't yet.
And it started to go viral in a not good way. They were getting extremely, grossly criticized for their sexuality and for their style. I was getting extremely upset. They were texting me. Oren said to me at one point, maybe we shouldn't have worn what we wore in this interview. Maybe we should have
dimmed
ourselves a little bit, and people would have taken us more seriously. And I said, no, don't change a thing.
So we're really excited today. Our very first guest of Don't Change a Thing is the incredible Akerlund, who is someone that was one of the very, very first closet interviews that we did for our original show, Closets. So she's a returner to the StyleLikeU platform.
B is someone who has not allowed herself to be dimmed in any way. She is just herself through and through. You know that the minute you see her, you know who she is. She's particularly dear to my heart because she is a fashion stylist, like I was a fashion stylist, but she has correctly, in my opinion, changed that term to fashion activist, because you are being an activist when you are being yourself. It is a revolutionary act to be yourself, and she is proud to be who she is. Her creativity is just absolutely flowing out of every pore of her being. A lot has changed, so we're really looking forward to seeing how much more she is herself than she's ever been before.
And real quick before you get started, if you're liking what you're watching, you can tune into new episodes of Don't Change a Thing every Thursday by subscribing to our YouTube channel. So hi, B.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I feel like we've all grown up.
Yeah. It was 10 years ago, or maybe 11, possibly.
I thought it was 9. Was it 10, 11?
I think it was 2013 is my...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe it was 10, 11 years ago. I mean, I'm like a different person.
I know. What do you mean when you say that? What comes
I feel
to
like
mind?
my perspective on life is completely different. Mm-hmm. I was super hungry, eager, excited 10 years ago about the business and what I was doing. I also think I was like just coming off like the whole Madonna Super Bowl thing. Like my career was ahead of me, and I feel like that moment in time will never come back. I was just like on a roll. I just kept going from one thing to another thing, and it's hard to relive what that time in my career was, because the celebrities that were around. I just feel like today everybody's a celebrity. There's no real icons. And I really resonate with icons. And I don't feel like they exist anymore because everyone's TikTok famous.
Can we hear about this outfit and kind of like what it says about where you're at right now?
Think, I call myself a method stylist. So I always think about like, okay, what's the concept? Where am I going? What am I trying to say? How am I feeling? I was thinking for the viewer that was watching this, I wanted something sort of hypnotizing. So it's almost like, look into my eyes, look into my eyes, look into the camera. And, like something that just felt like it would draw you in, but yet I knew it was sit down, so I had to be able to sit. And the reason why I always wear hats is because I'm so short. So whenever I put a hat on, I feel like I'm that much taller, and that's my comfort zone.
That's interesting. Like those little things like about your body, like proportion.
Yeah. Like there's tricks and tricks. I mean, I'm approaching 50. I was really paranoid because I was like, oh my God, it's a camera without filters. So, there's ways to get about it. Yeah. I'm like, you can wear gloves, you can cover your neck, you can do all these things because I'm not a big person with like plastic surgery. It just hasn't happened. Does it need to happen? I don't know. I just don't think that's me. But there's ways where you can dress yourself the part and style yourself where, do I have the nicest hands? I don't, but no one knows because I'm wearing gloves. And it was so refreshing because the other week I met Betsy Johnson for the first time, and it was the most refreshing thing ever. She had no work done, and I told her, I was like, this is the most refreshing, inspiring thing I've ever seen, and there's something really beautiful about aging. Yeah, is it fun? No. Do we want to stay young forever? Yeah, but there's something that intrigues me about it because it just shows wisdom.
And you see someone like Betsy Johnson or someone like you, and they just have this thing that there's no separation between any part of themselves. Like they're, what they're expressing that day in the moment, in their clothing, in their lives, in their world is who they are, is a reflection of who they are.
But it was interesting because when you told me like, oh, wear an outfit, this, and for the first time, I don't know why. I usually always know what I want to wear. Like I'm like, if I'm going to dinner or a party or something, I'm like, I feel like that. I want to wear that. I was quite lost for this interview. I was like, who am I?
And have you always been like yourself in this way through your clothing? And was there ever a time that you were dimming your self-expression or trying to fit in or anything like that?
I mean, people that have known me since, I was in my teenage years or in my 20s or 30s, they all know I've always dressed wild. The difference is just I have better resources and a bigger budget now. But there's times, I mean, like if I'm feeling lost or depressed or not happy, you could tell about what I'm wearing. Like if I'm dumbed down and I'm not looking like myself, it's not because I just didn't feel like getting dressed that morning. It's because I'm not happy.
It's such an expression of your emotional state.
Always. And, I just went through something sort of really personal and heavy and a whole month where I just felt really lost. And my friend said to me, like, B, you need to come back. And then I remember the first day I was like, I picked like an outfit again. She was like, oh my God, you're back. And I'm like, I'm back. And it's
Spirit.
Yeah.
Was that recent?
It was recent. Yeah.
Anything you want to share?
I felt like I had to find the spiritual me again, which I feel like I've lost because I've been on this like roller coaster of a career for the last 10 years and I haven't stopped. In the last year or two, like I kind of slow down a little bit to look more at what is it that I want to do. I want to live. I want to travel. I want to be a mom. And I started turning down a lot of work because I just wanted to be a mom because I felt like before I know it, they're going to be grown-ups and I wasn't there to experience it. So it's the best decision I ever made in my life because being a teenage mom is never going to come back. I got blessed. I have twins. I have 2 kids. I'm not going to have any more kids. I got a dog. Like that's what you do when you don't want more kids. You get a pet. I feel like it's important as you get older to really step back and sort of ask yourself, what makes you happy? And styling didn't make me happy anymore. It just, the anxiety would get the best of me. Not that I wouldn't pull it off. It was my own self asking myself, is this good enough? And it's not really like what other people think or what the client think. It's just what I think about my work. It's that inner voice that I'm fighting with because I was my worst, biggest critic. And because I'm such a perfectionist, I hit a wall. I had all these jobs lined up, and one of them was with a dear friend of mine. I just called her up and I said, I can't do it. I need to work on me. And I've never done that in my 30-year career, walked away from a job, ever. I had too many things going on at the same time, and I wasn't well. I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't eat, and that's how I internalize stress, is I don't eat. I lost 20 pounds in 2 weeks, which is a lot for someone like me. I had to force feed myself. Like all I could do is take like 5 sips of a green juice to not pass out.
And that is this the emotional stress you were referring to, like the stress around your career?
It's been growing on the last couple of years, and I feel like the anxiety got worse and worse. Sometimes we have to step back and we have to recharge, and that's what I needed to do. I was burnt out, and it can happen to the best of us.
I mean, we've burnt out so many times in the last 15 years. I mean, hit walls and had to recalibrate and make boundaries and
breathe. You just have to stop and breathe.
And also let go of the fear. Like if you're not constantly producing, constantly generating, constantly, saying yes to everything, will you matter? Like it's such a important transformational moment, I think, in a person's life to put yourself first and realize that everything will fall into place when you do that instead of the opposite.
Because before I always put my work first. And like you said, when you constantly have to produce, when you're running a business, and I was running my own brand, and you're doing styling, and you're being a mom, and you're being a wife, and you're trying to just appease everything and everybody, you can get to that point where you're just like, I can't do any of it anymore. Like, I just have to focus on me. I just have to take time out.
And how did it feel? Like, I can personally imagine that being really hard for me to draw that boundary and take a step back and take time for myself and feel like, am I missing out, or am I valuable still? How did it feel in the first moments of doing that and
Well, I also feel like you're saying the whole thing about, are you relevant? Who decides, right? Who decides if you're relevant or not? It's how you feel about yourself. I feel more relevant today than I've ever done. It doesn't mean that I'm producing every single second. I just feel like I'm me again. And that's a great feeling, to be able to just live in the now and in the moment and feel like you're worth something, even though you're not producing every second and you're doing hit after hit. I'm still the same person. It's just I have a different perspective on my career and my life and what I want to do and what makes me happy.
Was there a journey to getting to the place that you're at now where you can see it so clearly and have such an empowered attitude? Was there
well, I feel like
vulnerability that you had to
there's vulnerability
go through?
with aging, right? So you're not the next thing because that's already passed. Someone else is the next thing. And I'm trying to figure out who am I? Who do I want to be? Who am I? I felt like I was having a little bit of a midlife crisis, but maybe not. It was more of a midlife realization.
Rebirth.
Correct. Rebirth.
Everybody that we've interviewed that's around your age, nearing 50 or right after 50, has gone through some deep, dark night of the soul that then, in their early 50s, they come out stronger than ever.
That happened to me. I found myself around your age feeling so alienated from the homogeneity, the conformity, the meanness around fashion, instead of when I first discovered this in the 80s when I was in my 20s, where it would be this incredible imaginative explosion of the designer. We'd be in a garage or we'd be in, I don't know, wherever, it was so creative and everything. And then suddenly finding myself in the most compressed environment and mean and hierarchical.
But I also feel like what changed for me is styling to me was the funnest thing. I fed off the adrenaline. I just loved every part of it. I loved being on set. I loved doing that. I loved the prep I just don't know if I think it's fun anymore. That's the switch for me. I want to design more. That's my passion. It's not really just being a stylist. What's my passion is just being creative and letting my creativity come out in different shapes and forms. And that's what I've learned along the way too, that you don't have to just be one thing. You can be whatever you want to be as long as there's creativity.
I was just going to ask, because this show is called Don't Change a Thing, which is like the mission of the show is to sort of help people with accepting the things about themselves that they've maybe had like the biggest struggle accepting about who they are and then moving through the world from that place. And I'm just curious, does anything come to mind for you around something in your life that's been like hard to accept, but maybe as you've grown, you've realized that it's kind of what makes you who you are and that you love?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't change a thing. I literally wouldn't. People along the way try to groom you and change you to fit in. And I never listened to that. I always just stayed true to myself. And I feel like that's the one thing I'm the most proud of because I don't sell out. Like I will literally walk away from money and a job if it's not my aesthetic and something that I could be proud of or put my name behind. Because all I have is my aesthetic and who I am. Like if I change that,
you're not you.
Correct.
Going back to the question,
Correct.
who am I?
Correct.
And so for people that, you know, because I think that's something that most of us like struggle quite a bit to like get to in ourselves, the strength to stay true to who we are and to not cave to the pressure of appeasing others. So can you like bring us a little bit on the journey like of how
it's a feeling, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to follow your gut. If your gut says this doesn't feel right, it's usually right. The few times I haven't listened to my gut, it doesn't turn out good. So you should never second guess or question what the inner you is trying to tell you because it's always right. Always.
I think what you have and have always had on some level, and it's becoming stronger, is this feeling like a very strong inner voice of who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. But what I'm saying is I lost that voice. Like when I caved and I lost myself and I hit the wall, I didn't know who to listen to. I didn't know who I was. I didn't even know, am I a stylist? Am I a mom? Am I a wife? Like I had to refine myself. And then I feel like when I stepped back, took a moment and sort of worked on myself, I was like, oh, there she is. Right now, what makes me happy is my family and travel and just trying to actually appreciate what I have, which I don't ever feel like I did. I just took everything for granted, everything in my life, my husband, my kids, everything I've accomplished and everything sort of came into perspective. And now I'm like, I'm ready for anything. And I don't really know what it is. For the first time in my life, I don't know. I've always had the answer, but I don't know. But it's going to come to me.
Not knowing is brave. Actually, it's brave
That's what
to
I'm
not
saying.
know.
For the first time in my life, I feel comfortable not knowing. I feel comfortable not producing. I feel comfortable not having to be the hamster in the wheel. I'm okay with it. If I never worked another day in my life, that's okay. Before I always felt like I was chasing something and I was chasing the next thing and you don't want to miss out over there and you don't want to do that. And oh my God, that person didn't hire me and they hired someone else. Like, I don't give a shit. For the first time, I really don't care. And that is a really good feeling.
This episode of Don't Change a Thing is brought to you by BetterHelp.
So Lily, how is therapy so far 2024? How has it been a time of celebration for you?
Not only is it a place where I get to like unpack obviously the things that I'm struggling with in life, but it also is like this really valuable hour of the week where I get to pause and also celebrate the areas that I'm like growing and look back at like where I was when I started therapy and see how far I've come in this day and age when we're moving so fast and we're just constantly like distracted and consuming media on our phones and just nonstop momentum forward. It just is so meaningful to me to have a space like therapy where I can pause and honor the person that I've become. BetterHelp is entirely online and is designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to meet your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire and you'll be matched with a licensed therapist. And you can change therapists for no additional charge.
Visit betterhelp.com/don'tchange today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/don'tchange. Go therapy.
Yeah.
And what about like with regards to your physical self? Is there any insecurity that you're working on overcoming right now or something you're working on accepting about your body or aging or like can we get into that a little bit more?
Well, my face for starters. I feel like 45 still looked like I was 35, but the closer you get to it's like it's not a matter of like days or months. It's like seconds. It's like I'll wake up and like, oh, what's that? What's that? What's that? I feel like I have, beginning of like arthritis in my hands, which was like another eye opener for me and a wake up call. And I didn't even know what that was, but every time I would get a big job, because I do so much research on the computer, I would get carpal tunnel in my wrists and my arms that would go all the way up my shoulder. Like I physically couldn't work. Looking for clothes, you're going like this and you're carrying, I've been carrying stuff for 30 years, lifting heavy things. And all of a sudden my body was telling me no. And when you can't physically work because your body is telling you no, you know you have to slow down.
I've sort of had the same thing recently because my shoulders have been killing me and I've literally not been able to use the computer. Like
no, I had to get a special mouse clicker that's special for my hand. And now I can't do anything without it because I'm so used to it. I had to readjust certain things. I mean, just starting wearing glasses every day of my life. That was like another thing. And I always thought when I didn't need glasses, I was like, I can't wait for the day I need glasses. Think about all the glasses that I could wear. Wearing glasses does a lot of other good things. It covers up bags under your eyes. It kind of like diffuses things. And, you know, I have one of the biggest glass collection ever. I probably have 500 pairs. So I feel like now I'm like playing more with that instead of trying to hide and staying at home. I'm like, okay, what glasses should I wear today? Great. So with everything bad or negative in your life, it's there for a reason. It's there for you to look at, like, why is this happening to me? How can I embrace the situation and sort of do something fun out of it?
Why is this perfectionism around your environment, your style, how you are seen? Where do you think that's coming from?
For sure, it's coming from my mother. My mom was a perfectionist. I kind of felt like growing up, I had to be the best at everything. And so in my mind, being a mom, I don't want to scare my children because I feel like every time they're like half good at something, I'm like, okay, you like, this is it. This is what you could be really good at. And I feel like every time I do that, they take 20 steps back. What I realize is you cannot change your children. They are who they are. And a teacher told me that early on when they were in preschool. She just said, the most important advice I could give you is let your children be who they want to be. And I did. It was difficult at times because they let me dress them for the first 6 years of their life. And then they just said, Mom, you can't dress us anymore. It was the saddest day of my life.
Wow.
And right now, like, we totally don't have the same aesthetic. They hate my closet. I have to beg them, I'm like, why do you wear this jacket? And they're like, no.
Are they like self-conscious because you're so expressive and not like the other moms or quote?
Not at all. I feel like they've learned to live with me and my looks. You guys were there, and when they were smaller, I feel sometimes maybe they thought it was embarrassing to bring friends over to this black weird castle with skulls and penises everywhere. But I think they've overcome that part. But the one thing that I cherish the most is that we're best friends and we very, very close. And even if they break a rule, I don't even like, what am I going to do? Ground them? They're perfect. Like, they're like the sweetest little angels I could ever ask for. Like, how am I going to punish? Like, what am I going to do? I try to be tough on them, but it just never works. Like, I'm such not a loser mom, but I always thought I'd be like my own mother. But she was like really strict and she was stuck to it. Like, anything but being perfect wasn't good enough.
Do you feel that like maybe part of this moment for you is this stepping more fully into who am I, aside from the person that didn't feel like I was enough or had to constantly measure up or constantly.
Yeah, I feel like maybe as I've taken a step back on being so perfect on everything, I'm taking a step back on everything. I'm like, okay, that's okay. I'm not so, even I walk around the office before, it's like if one thing was not, it was supposed to be, it freaked me out. And I'm like, they'll get to it. I'm more chill and relaxed, I think. I let more things slip to where before nothing passed by.
Mm-hmm. It was like controlling your world.
Yes.
Like to
but the
such
control was exhausting.
And you lost yourself.
Because you're constantly like, everything has to be perfect all the time. You can't relax. Like, you can't lay on a beach and just chill and read a book and do something if you're constantly worrying about stuff. But, you know, I'm getting there.
When do you feel the most beautiful?
When I have an amazing outfit on. It kind of doesn't matter where I'm going. Like, all the accessories align. And you just know it's like a magical combination. It's taking care of all my insecurities.
Do you feel beautiful now?
I do. you guys are stripping me down, asking all these questions, but I feel shielded.
Protected.
Yeah.
When you say like, who am I? You've asked that question a couple of times. What would that answer be? Like,
Who I am?
yeah.
I'm just B. I'm a middle-aged woman and a teenage mom. That's who I am right now. And that's something I could have never said before because that's a moment in my life.
I like that you just like self-proclaimed that you're a middle-aged woman because I feel like that
I
term
am.
has like
It's
a lot
scary.
of stigma
It
attached
just
to it.
coming out of my mouth, I was like, oh my God, did I just say that? I did. But I don't think it's something to feel ashamed of. Like, why try to pretend like I'm 30 when I'm not? I'm not.
So as far as like your new power and the next phase for you, the last thing we're asking all of our guests on this show to do is change into an outfit that like reflects where you're heading, like the next iteration of you, 1 degree more shame-free, 1 degree more owning who you are. Is there something that you might change into for us that like says that in some way?
Let's see.
Let's see.
Come on, Bootsy. Come to your mama. Come on. So if you ask me who I want to be in the future, it's this girl.
Who's this girl?
She's just fabulous, and she's just having a great life.
She sure is.
Not giving a damn. Like, I've never been one for ball gowns, but there's a feeling when you put it on. Like, if I could just walk around my house in ball gowns and
Or go shopping.
and feathers or go shopping, like
grocery shopping.
I would be so happy.
What are some of the reactions or assumptions that people, when they see you, like if you were grocery shopping in this or walking around?
I mean, the one thing I've learned through the years by being a serial dresser, I guess, I don't know, is you just make friends. And that's what I learned from an early age is it puts a smile on people's faces. Oh, no, where are you going? Stay here. This is my other best accessory.
I see that you're not wearing gloves on your hands.
Well, the universe obviously didn't want me to wear gloves because they were supposed to be packed. And then when I went to go look, they were not there.
Can you just go into a little more detail why this is like for you a step into like your next layer?
Does it connect in any way in your mind to like the letting go of control, letting go of perfection, like relaxing, chilling version of yourself?
The word relaxing, chilling is in the category of this look. Sometimes my fashion doesn't always go with, like, I've had probably 10 bike accidents due to my wardrobe. I'm trying to stop in 10-inch platforms and then I can't stop, so I fall off the bike or things like that. So every summer it's a big, you know what, get out of here. Go. You're being annoying. Okay, someone needs attention. Same with my hair. My hair is a big problem because it gets caught in everything. But I am having second thoughts about cutting my hair off when I turn 50 because I feel like my hair is such a part of me, but it also does really good things. Like, you know, it does cover up imperfections of arms and things, or you can cover your neck. Like it's comes to handy.
Mm-hmm. But maybe you're sort of something inside of you is saying to stop covering up.
Well, obviously, since someone forgot to pack my silver gloves.
And you want to cut your hair possibly.
I don't know. I mean, I'll share. But this is, you know, middle-aged woman's, you know, you don't have to get plastic surgery. You just get some appliques. And so you don't even have to wear sunglasses when you go out. You could just put some appliques on. It's very handy. It takes 20 seconds.
And so as the things that are coming to you with aging and everything that are challenging, it's bringing out more creativity.
That's what I'm saying. You have to work with all these things that you didn't have to work with before.
So it's an opportunity.
Absolutely.
So last question. If you had to put into words one thing that you would never change about yourself, what would you say?
My lips.
Yeah?
I'm never touching them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't feel really proud that my lips are my lips. They're just, you know, you don't need to do all these things because you can paint how big or small you want them. It's a great tool.
You mean like you don't have to get like
Well,
plump them, but you can just paint them?
You don't have to plump them. You don't have to do anything. And I feel very like happy that I'm unplumped, but I could just paint them however I want them.
So again, the answer is always creativity.
Correct.
Okay. Well, thank you
Thank you so much. We loved being able to do this again with you, and we're so grateful to you for that and for coming with all your,
Thank
full
you for
on.
inviting me back.
And for seeing where you're, like, how much you've evolved in the last decade. It's really cool, and it's exciting to see where you're heading.
Yeah.
Making middle age cool again.
Because it is.
You can't control it. Everyone gets old. That's like the one thing we all have in common. We all get old.
And we're all going to die.
We're all going to die. And it's just how you manifest it. Cool. Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
So thank you everyone for watching our first episode of Don't Change a Thing with the incredible B. Akerlund. Tune into new episodes of Don't Change a Thing every Thursday by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Comment, share it with a friend. You could listen to the audio only version on all podcast apps, wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to be as chic as B and Bootsy over here, check out B's line of doggy couture for pets and humans at bootsycouture.com with a Z. That's Bootsy with a Z, couture.com.